Yo guys, Theo here on Common Sense. Fresh out the sauna after having a sauna. Hello, welcome to the channel. Out here for some evening time grounding. And yeah, I had to find a lamp. It's getting darky, guys. I was surprised it was so dark when I got out. But anyway, so I put out a video last week about the snake diets, the keto. I was wrong about Cole's low protein keto diet, and I noticed today that the views were tripled all of a sudden. The algorithm is funny like that, so I figured why not keep pumping out some snake diet content. Obviously, fasting is something I mention at the end of every video that the channel is about. So I'll say right away, I have a slightly different school of thought in general about fasting than Cole. The snake diet is not really even. I don't. It's for the algorithm a lot, but of course, it's true that my fasting origins. I learned like during my first long fast, I discovered Cole, and that's kind of how I learned most things I learned initially, and then I experimented and learned and created kind of my own school of thought. But so I'll talk a bit just generally in this video what my favorite things about the fasting is, and if you want to learn more, if you're new to the channel, you can just search my channel for fasting. You'll find a whole bunch of videos. So my favorite things about fasting. So first of all, it's the fastest and easiest way to lose weight. Simple as that. Because, I got into this. I've been training for 4 years. And before this, I knew some about calories because my mom actually was a dietitian once upon a time. She's not anymore in her youth. But yeah, so I knew some about calories, kind of like that. But really, I didn't know health, fitness, weight loss. How do you do it? Like, yeah, calorie deficit somehow. Don't know much more. And so when you get into it, and it's about losing muscle, how you cut as a bodybuilder, how do you preserve muscle on a cut, all this shit. You get overwhelmed with so many different things you should be doing, and it seems complicated. You probably have to buy something. But then turns out all you had to do was just don't eat, and it works, and it's faster than anything because it's a 100% calorie deficit. And of course, the little caveat is that fasting is not for everyone. When you have a fucked up metabolism, the thyroid is just gone to shit and all that, and the fasting is just counterproductive. You'd actually have to feed your body a bit more for a bit, and not do anything more aggressive than intermittent fasting. But when it works, when it works, like for me, how it was for me, it was just that so I can just fucking cut weight much faster and easier now. What I mean with easier too, I put them in the same because to me, and a lot of people agree that to me, it's much more difficult. So the way I cut earlier this year as a bodybuilder, I'm not that aggressive with the fasting. I mean, to a lot of people, just even doing any fasting is aggressive. But I did a 64, so like a 2 and 2/3 of a day long fast. Funnily enough, because it's not a magic number, it's just because I always break and start the fast at the same time, right? But yeah, 2.5 day fast basically, every other week. And that fast was always easier than not eating more than my maintenance calories on the other days, because I kind of feel like, it's like if the the gut is all empty, it's like for me, now when I've adapted, it's just like, okay, it's empty, okay, we're fasting. Like if I start thinking about food, it's like, yeah, it would be good, but it's kind of like, it's empty. No point. But when I eat, say that my calories now, for the sake of argument or example, is 3,000, and I've eaten 2,500. It's kind of like, yeah, there's stuff in there, but it's not full yet. You see that, especially as someone who sometimes bulks. Like I'm bulking right now, not like a giga bulk, but I'm eating in a slight calorie surplus. It's weird to be eating like just a little less than what your body needs to maintain weight, So when I fast, it's just so much easier. So faster and easier. And so the next thing I love would be, it's just the best way to reverse food addiction. I was asked on a live stream recently if it was the best way to treat, reverse binge eating, stop binge eating. It's actually, funnily enough, the one time that at a point at least, I think it's not good. Of course, someone who binges regularly could break the cycle by doing fast and actually eating a proper meal, to not going, ham on the shit food. But if you've done that loop over and over, you just kind of further establish that that's how you do things. So then maybe you'd actually have to just practice eating like a normal person before you start doing any more fasting. But when you don't do that, if you can, we talk about actually doing fasting and not fucking it up. the fast cleans out the dopamine receptors much quicker. That's why fasting from food too can help with speed up other, because it just generally does that, but especially the ones connected to the taste buds. This means, because as like any drug addict who has, started with just food and got eaten more and more intense, more intense flavors, junk food, but more of it too. You're like a drug addict at higher dose and you barely feel the first dose. This is what's happened to Whole Foods if you're a junk food addict. But now you reverse this and you actually have, it's like you have access to taste in the Whole Foods that you didn't before because you're just numbed out, and now you can enjoy that. And when you don't you don't care about the junk foods. That's kind of my outlook on it. When people, don't you miss it sometimes? Wouldn't you cheat? Like why? Why? I love everything I eat. Why would I have to eat any of this shit? That is like one of the, it's like the worst thing you can do. Like we're talking health habits. To be honest, to be regularly eating shit food. Like alcohol goes in there because it's also a food, It's like the worst things you could do. And this you can just remove. You can remove it with fasting, and the insulin sensitivity, it goes into that too, right? Like it's the combo. It's a double whammy that you both now enjoy taste of whole foods more, so you don't really miss junk foods, but also you don't really get hungry as often because your blood sugar is more stable, your insulin sensitivity is good. You don't get all these right? So that's one of the things. Let me actually pause and think about the next point. Well, I'll actually make a little snake diet point, like something I learned from, not something I love about fasting is that, I want to bring up the salts, the snake juice, that's potassium chloride and sodium chloride, so just table salt with sea salt and potassium. Electrolytes, like you will by doing this with the fast with the salt water, you notice like a lot of the time when we think we are thirsty for water, like maybe we want some water, but it's also that we want the salts. Like, can you think of those times, like if you're really hungover, for instance, but you've been sweating like a pig or something, and you drink a bunch of cold water, and maybe it's like refreshing, but it kind of feel like something is missing here. Or if you've been in the sauna, like I just do, can kind of be like that. The water tastes like empty, and you realize that it's because of the salts. When you just do this with electrolytes on the fast, now you pick up, and I started noticing when I started fasting, exactly this. I remember actually going out of the sauna, it's like, the salts. I need the salts too, and so I wanted to tie this into that you just get in to the previous point too, kind of. You just get in touch with your body and what it needs. The way I describe it is that, of course, there's a reason us humans are the way we are. Right? Our bodies are amazing, but it's when they work well, they tell us exactly what we need to know. But when we get traumatized, and I don't just mean emotionally, like physically, by addictions and stuff, when things get screwed up in the body and you just can't listen to the signals, like the junk food addict who's fasting, know they are fucking fat and they're gonna have a heart attack and die, but they still feel like, but it's the right thing. I want to eat this, but when you're not, and that's just one example. I would have put it so many things, right? But when for instance, I've noticed what hunger is supposed to feel like. It's not supposed to be such a strong feeling if you're like not actually starving, which I have never actually been, right? I've been very lean, but I'm not starving. It's like, I don't really even know what really intense hunger feels like. It's like, for me to even experience hunger that is bothering to some extent, it has to be I am sleep deprived, I slept a bit, and I'm highly stressed now, and I've been moving a lot in the day. That's when I might it would be really nice to eat something, but it's not worse than that. It's not supposed to be such a strong feeling. So fasting in many ways is just a great way to get in touch with your body. And on that note, I'll say that something I love with fasting is that it really, a surprising thing to me when I got into fasting, but makes sense when you think of it, is that it's actually a great way to heal, or not heal, but overcome depression. It's like, of course, fasting, if you have actual problems in your life, it's not the first time I stumble on that word on this channel, but of course you can't fast away, I don't know, a tough relationship, but what you get with the fasting is sometimes when we're depressed, even over actual things, like events going on and stuff, So when you're fasting, we can get stuck in them, like we can't think of anything else. But when you're fasting, your priorities change, When you haven't eaten for like 48 hours plus, it's like, yeah, those things still suck, but I fucking haven't eaten. Like, even if you're not hungry, like I said, because I don't really feel that hungry at that point. It's just that priorities have changed. I'm still in sort of a hunter state. And that's what, by the way, what I think, it's not productive for you to be super hungry, if you're not starving, but you're just fasted 48 hours. But it makes sense that you're a little on the lookout. All the senses get sharpened like that. But yeah, it also takes, it's like, it's an energy sparing mode fasting, even if you're burning through energy, because of course your body fat is your fuel then. My abs look sick here, by the way. Nice lighting, thank you. Can we get a thumbnail here somehow? What I learned from the snake diet, or yeah. Now I even lost track. Well, what I say? Well, yeah, your priorities change, and you even though you burn through body fat when you fast, of course the body tries to, minimize unnecessary energy expenditure. Yeah, because you're not getting any energy from the outside, right? So even just thinking, thinking takes energy. We all know that being depressed and overanalyzing, you're exhausted, right? So yeah, fasting actually for me, when I had more of a kind of an abstract depression this year, like we often, more existential nature of it, then I could actually kind of fast it away. It was kind of like every fast raised my baseline mood a bit, and then it goes down a bit as I start eating back again and coming out of the fasted state. But then, and all of a sudden I was out of it, So that's a real special one. And on this note, like fasting, I guess, I have more points. I could do some honorable mentions at the end. But like my favorite things, and so one thing that I also give Cole and the snake diet credit for, he's definitely gone through this, is that when you notice this, and I talked about it at the start, all these fucking lies, everyone tries to scare you and sell their solution to the problem, no, don't fast, you lose muscle, yeah, buy my fat burner, buy my program, blah, 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 whatever it is, And then when you fast and you realize I didn't even fucking need food, like of course I do in the end, but like, what else don't I need? And you're looking at this guy. I'm not using any shampoo. The only thing that's entered my hair for a year is sweat, lemon juice, and coconut oil. Yeah, I use some soap sometimes here. It's my mom thinks I smell too bad. Oh, that's good, lots of women like the way I smell, but my mom hates it. It makes biological sense, right? Yeah, but I could go on. So you're looking at this. Yeah, you see what I become. I realize all the fucking people dressed up. This is what we are. I'm not saying that you should be naked or shirtless all the time, but do you understand my point that all these fucking fake things that you've been led to believe that you need, fasting is a great eye-opener. Like, okay, if I didn't even need the food for a while, and I don't need all these fucking bullshit supplements, programs, fad diets, whatever it is, what else don't I need? And you end up like this all of a sudden, So yeah, some honorable mentions, the autophagy is cool, the growth hormone spike is cool, yeah, great things, but I'm trying to talk here about, these are great things, but I'm talking about what actually happens from this, and some of these things are an expression of that, those things. Like, I didn't even mention, but beauty. That's a great beauty thing, except getting thinner like that. It's great for the skin, and the autophagy there, and the growth hormone is going to be good for that. So, yeah, guys. I think I'm sorry if this video was a little messy. I often say this at the end, but I can feel like it's the end of the day. I usually don't record videos at this time, but I'm going to have a couple busy days coming up, so I wanted to get Friday's video out, or done today at least. So please guys, let me know in the comments, what are your favorite things about fasting? Or do you in fact hate fasting? Tell me anyway. Comment whatever. All comments and likes help support the channel, helps more people see it. It's very important that people see it. You're happy that you found the channel, aren't you? Help more people do it. Like, why wouldn't you want to help them like that? That's crazy. And me, of course. But we are all in this together, guys. Please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, mental health, stoicism, philosophy. All that kind of cool shit, guys. Have a lovely weekend. I will see you in the stream tomorrow, Saturday, 6 p.m. my time. That's 9 a.m. in LA. I'm 9 hours ahead of LA, and other times in other places. See you then, guys. Peace.